Europe. Land of enchanting villages. A blend of landscapes, stories, and traditions that have withstood the test of time. Its imposing fortresses and Gothic cathedrals tell stories of a bygone era. But far from the well-trodden tourist routes, hidden among valleys and hills, there are gems that few have discovered. Villages perched on hills surrounded by mighty walls. Intact medieval villages, guardians of legends and mysteries. These are the hidden treasures of medieval Europe, pearls of a distant era. In this video, we'll explore the paths of medieval Europe and reveal places where the past seems to have stood still. Get ready to discover an authentic medieval Europe, far from the most frequented routes. Europe boasts thousands of medieval villages. Yet, according to history experts, only a small percentage of these attract the attention of most tourists. This means that a large part of Europe's medieval heritage remains unknown to many, concealing architectural and cultural wonders. Let us delve, then, into these villages and towns, discovering places that are certainly no less fascinating than the great historic centers. We remind you that this is the second episode of the series, and you can find the first one in the link in the description. Let's begin. Oxford, England. Home to one of the oldest and most prestigious universities in the world, is a city where academic excellence merges with centuries of history. Its medieval colleges, with their quiet courtyards and Gothic spires, create a unique urban landscape. The Bodleian Library, one of the oldest libraries in Europe, houses millions of books and rare manuscripts. The Radcliffe Camera, with its distinctive dome, is one of the most photographed buildings in the city. Oxford is not just a center of learning, but also a place of innovation. Its laboratories and research centers continue to contribute to scientific discoveries of global significance. The city has also inspired numerous authors, and its landscapes have served as a backdrop for many literary and cinematic works, including the Harry Potter saga. Heidelberg, Germany. Heidelberg enchants visitors with its romantic scenery, dominated by the ruins of its imposing castle perched above the Neckar River. This ancient university town is a melting pot of history, culture, and youth, thanks to its renowned university, the oldest in Germany, established in 1386. Walking through the cobblestone streets of the old town, you'll find charming cafes, antique bookstores, and a lively art scene. Heidelberg is also famous for its Philosopher's Walk, a trail that offers spectacular views of the city and castle, once a favorite haunt for poets and intellectuals seeking inspiration. And for those with a sweet tooth, the Heidelberger Studentenkuss, a traditional chocolate, is a must-try originally conceived as a sweet gift among love-struck students. Civita di Bagnoregio, Italy. Known as the Dying City due to the continuous erosion of the tough hill it stands on, Civita di Bagnoregio is a unique experience, accessible only via a pedestrian bridge. This medieval village, founded by the Etruscans more than 2,500 years ago, seems suspended in time and space, offering spectacular views of the Calanchi Valley. Its narrow streets, lined with stone houses and flowers at the windows, lead to the main square, where the Church of San Donato stands. Here, time seems to stop, and the tranquil atmosphere invites tourists to slow down, fully immersing themselves in the peace that this place offers. Marvão, Portugal. Perched on a granite peak in the Alentejo, it dominates the surrounding landscape. Its intact walls, which embrace a maze of stone streets and whitewashed houses, offer one of the most spectacular views in Portugal. Here, the aroma of freshly baked bread wafts through the air, while the medieval castle, the highest point of the village, offers an idyllic panorama that stretches to Spain. Marvão is certainly steeped in history, but it's also a living place, where Alentejo traditions are manifested in the authentic flavors of local cuisine and precious craftsmanship. Salzburg, Austria. Salzburg, Mozart's birthplace, is a Baroque gem nestled between the Austrian Alps and the Salzach River. Its historic center, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is a maze of medieval alleys dominated by the imposing Hohensalzburg fortress. Getreidegasse, with its wrought iron signs, houses Mozart's birthplace, now a museum dedicated to the composer. Famous for the Salzburg Festival, one of the world's most prestigious classical music events, the city attracts culture enthusiasts year-round. Additionally, the Mirabell Gardens offer a green oasis and beautiful scenery. Salzburg harmoniously blends history, music, and architecture, offering a unique atmosphere of tradition and refinement. Dinant, Belgium. This distinctive Walloon town nestles along the banks of the Meuse River, wedged between steep limestone cliffs. Dominated by the citadel, an 11th century fortress accessible by cable car, Dinant offers beautiful panoramas of the valley. The Gothic Notre Dame Church, with its characteristic bulb-shaped bell tower, is reflected in the river's waters. Dinant is famous as the birthplace of Adolphe Sax, inventor of the saxophone, and this connection is celebrated with colorful saxophone sculptures scattered throughout the town. The local beer production and typical pastries undoubtedly enrich the culinary experience for tourists. Albarracín, Spain. Surrounded by a landscape that seems lifted from a painting, Albarracín nestles in the hills of Aragon, offering an extraordinary example of a well-preserved medieval village. Its ancient walls and towers dominate the landscape, enveloping tourists in a sensation of time travel. The narrow cobbled streets wind between terracotta-colored stone buildings, with flowered balconies and small squares that invite moments of rest. The serenity of this village is palpable, ideal for those looking to escape the noise of modern life and immerse in an atmosphere from another time. Bergamo, Italy. Divided between upper city and lower city, Bergamo is a treasure of art and history, nestled in the Lombard Prealps. The Venetian walls, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, surround the upper city, a labyrinth of medieval alleys, welcoming squares, and Renaissance palaces. Piazza Vecchia, the city's beating heart, houses the Civic Tower and the Palazzo della Regione, silent witnesses to centuries of history. The Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore amazes with its inlays and frescoes, while the Colleoni Chapel represents a masterpiece of Lombard Renaissance. Descending by funicular towards the lower city, you discover the modern face of the city, with its tree-lined avenues and elegant center. Bergamo is certainly a perfect blend of glorious past and vibrant present, a city that surprises at every corner. Kazimierz Dolny, Poland. On the banks of the Vistula, this Polish Renaissance jewel is a paradise for artists and history lovers. Its characteristic squares, surrounded by richly decorated bourgeois houses, tell centuries of mercantile prosperity. The medieval castle and defensive tower, which dominate the landscape, offer a pleasant view of the river valley and surrounding hills. The town is still a lively place, where contemporary art dialogues with historical architecture in galleries and festivals. Finally, the paths that wind through the surrounding ravines offer suggestive walks, while the market in the main square bustles with life, colors, and traditional flavors. Bacharach, Germany. Situated along the winding banks of the Rhine, Bacharach epitomizes the enchantment of the German Renaissance with its picturesque half-timbered houses. It's a place where time seems to slow down, allowing every moment to be savored, whether you're exploring narrow alleys or tasting a glass of the renowned local wine. The charm of Bacharach is palpable, especially during the golden hours of sunset, when the last sunlight caresses the facades of historic homes. For history buffs, a visit to the Gothic St. Peter's Church offers a dive into the past, while wine enthusiasts will love the local cellars offering tastings of wines produced in the surrounding vineyards. Gruyères, Switzerland. This medieval village, famous for its namesake cheese, offers a dive into the past, with its imposing castle and cobblestone streets winding among ancient stone houses. Visiting Gruyères is like walking through an open-air museum, where every building and every alley has a story to tell. Additionally, the castle that majestically stands at the village's center hosts exhibits of local history and art. Tourists can not only discover the village's cheese-making traditions, but also enjoy local specialties in cozy pubs offering panoramic views of the surrounding alpine landscape. Gruyères invites you to slow down, savor each moment, and let yourself be enchanted by its tranquility and beauty. Utrecht, Netherlands. Utrecht, a gem in the heart of the Netherlands, offers historic charm combined with a vibrant, youthful spirit, thanks to its renowned university, one of the oldest in Europe. The historic center is dominated by the Dom Tower, 112 meters high and visible from almost every corner of the city. A climb to the top provides a wonderful view of the ancient stone streets and narrow canals that define the city. Utrecht is also famous for its hidden courtyards and secret gardens, small oases of peace that magically open behind urban facades. An intriguing curiosity about the city is the Miffy Museum, dedicated to the bunny Miffy, a children's book character created as a tribute to the cultural impact of this beloved character on generations of children. Hallstatt. Considered one of Europe's most picturesque villages, Hallstatt strikes a perfect balance between nature and history. Located on the shores of its namesake lake and surrounded by imposing mountains, this town offers a view that looks like a painting. The characteristic wooden houses climb up the mountainside, creating a charming labyrinth of alleys and stairways with beautiful views of the lake. Tourists can explore the underground galleries or take the funicular to enjoy a spectacular view from above. The town is also an ideal starting point for hikes in the surrounding forests or boat trips on the lake, offering moments of serenity away from daily life's hustle and bustle. Gubbio, Italy. Gubbio is one of the oldest medieval villages in Umbria, known for its authentic atmosphere and well-preserved traditions. The historic center is a maze of ancient streets that climb steeply up to the Palazzo dei Consoli, an imposing Gothic structure that dominates the city. Every year, the village hosts the Festa dei Ceri, a folkloric event where citizens run through the streets carrying enormous candles in a race of strength and faith. Additionally, the Basilica of Sant'Ubaldo, located atop the hill with a view over the valley, is a place of pilgrimage and profound spiritual significance. Rocamadour, France. Clinging to the face of a gorge, this French medieval village defies gravity and imagination. Its houses and chapels seem to merge with the rock, creating an image as surreal as it is magnificent. It's not just an architectural marvel, but also an important pilgrimage site. Tourists find themselves climbing 216 steps to the sanctuary, a journey that challenges the body and elevates the spirit. The beating heart of the village, with its narrow paved streets and small squares, offers an authentic glimpse into medieval French life. Here, history and legend intertwine, whispering tales of knights and miracles to those who have ears to listen. The mystical atmosphere permeates every corner, offering an experience that transcends time and nourishes the soul. Guimarães, Portugal. Known as the birthplace of the Portuguese nation, Guimarães is a city of significant historical and cultural importance. Its well-preserved medieval center is dominated by the imposing castle, reputed to be the birthplace of the first king of Portugal. Paved streets lead tourists through ornate squares and historic buildings, showcasing Gothic and Baroque architecture. Guimarães was also the European Capital of Culture in 2012, and its cultural events calendar continues to celebrate the city's rich artistic heritage with festivals, exhibitions, and theatrical performances. Quedlinburg, Germany. If stones could speak, those of Quedlinburg would tell tales of kings and ancient realms. This UNESCO World Heritage town is a hidden jewel, boasting a Romanesque castle and a historic center that has preserved its medieval allure. Walking through its streets, you find yourself surrounded by architecture dating back centuries, a paradise for those who love history and art. A visit to the castle, which overlooks the surrounding area, is a journey back in time, making this town a treasure to explore. The town market and artisan shops add a vibrant touch to the tranquil medieval atmosphere, inviting tourists to discover ancient crafts and local traditions. Monteriggioni, Italy. Monteriggioni is an exceptional example of a fortified medieval village, with its intact walls and towers majestically guarding the surrounding Tuscan countryside. This small village, often mentioned in Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy, is immersed in an atmosphere of yesteryears, where every stone tells stories of medieval battles and daily life. Walking along the walls, you can enjoy a panoramic view of the vineyards and olive groves that define the region's landscape. Monteriggioni also hosts various medieval events and festivals, with historical reenactments and traditional markets. Cambridge, England. Cambridge, Oxford's historic rival, is another world-renowned university city. Situated on the banks of the River Cam, it also enchants with its medieval colleges, distinctive bridges, and vast green spaces called the Backs. King's College, with its 15th-century Gothic chapel, is perhaps the city's most iconic building. Its choir is world-renowned for the quality of its performances, particularly the Christmas concert broadcast on television. Cambridge has also given birth to numerous influential scientists and thinkers. The Cavendish Laboratory, for example, has been the site of revolutionary discoveries such as the structure of DNA. Today, the city continues to be a center of innovation, particularly in the fields of technology and biotechnology. Dinkelsbühl, Germany. Another splendid example of medieval heritage along the Romantic Road, which is a tourist route in southern Germany, Dinkelsbühl captures attention with its well-preserved walls and colorful towers, which seem to guard the city. Walking through its historic gateways, you find yourself in a world where medieval festivities and festivals of ancient music are part of everyday life. Historic churches, like the St. George Church, with its impressive Gothic interior, offer a fascinating glimpse into the art and architecture that have shaped the region over the centuries. Dinkelsbühl is a place where every corner offers a new discovery, an invitation to explore and immerse yourself in history. Rochefort-en-Terre, France. This village in Brittany shines for its authentic medieval spirit and its flowered houses that adorn the stone streets. Renowned as one of France's most beautiful villages, the town is a mosaic of ancient architecture, with ornate stone facades and balconies overflowing with geraniums. The main square, surrounded by ancient noble residences and small artisan shops, is the vibrant heart of Rochefort-en-Terre, where tradition and modernity meet harmoniously. This village transforms into a veritable fairy tale during the Christmas period, with lights, decorations, and markets that attract tourists from all over the world, making this place a perfect example of how history can blend with festive joy. Monsanto, Portugal. Perched among giant granite boulders, this Portuguese village defies the laws of physics and imagination. Houses wedged between and under enormous boulders seem to merge with the rock itself, creating a surreal landscape that looks like it's straight out of a fantastic tale. Labyrinthine streets wind among these unique dwellings, each with a 1,000-year history to tell. From the top of the village, dominated by the remains of a Templar castle, the view spans a sea of oak and olive trees, stretching to the Spanish border. Monsanto is not just an architectural marvel, but a journey through time where ancient traditions and the power of nature blend in perfect, untouched harmony. Ferrara, Italy. A journey into medieval and Renaissance Italy, where elegance merges with centuries of history. The imposing walls embrace a UNESCO World Heritage Historic Center, dominated by the majestic Castello Estense. Here, art flourished under the patronage of the Este family, leaving an indelible mark in every corner. Cycling along the tree-lined avenues, you discover a human-scale city where time flows slowly. The cathedral, with its Romanesque Gothic facade, tells centuries of faith and beauty, while Palazzo dei Diamanti shines as a unique architectural jewel in the world. You can't leave Ferrara without having tasted its famous cuisine, where pumpkin cappellacci reign supreme, offering a gastronomic experience that perfectly completes the cultural journey. Ronda, Spain. Perched on a majestic cliff and divided by the deep El Tallo Gorge, Ronda is a gem of Andalusia, enchanting with its unique landscape and historic architecture. The famous Puente Nuevo, bridging the two parts of the city, offers spectacular views of the canyon below and the surrounding mountains. Moreover, walking through the streets of Ronda is like traveling through time, with each road recounting medieval eras, Moorish conquests, and cultural renaissances. Visitors can explore ancient fortresses, noble palaces, and museums rich in art and local history, or relax in the many bars with panoramic views. Dürnstein, Austria. Located in the traditional Wachau region along the Danube, Dürnstein is famous for its white wine and the castle ruins where, according to legend, Richard the Lionheart was held prisoner in the 12th century. The surrounding landscape is dominated by terraced vineyards that offer unique sceneries, especially in autumn when the leaves change color. The historic center is a weave of narrow streets, with Baroque buildings and a notable abbey, whose blue tower is visible from afar. Dürnstein is definitely a must-visit for wine lovers, with numerous wineries offering tastings and direct sales. Kutná Hora, Czech Republic. This medieval city, located in central Bohemia, is famous for its past linked to silver mining. The historic center, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, presents an extraordinary collection of Gothic and Baroque architecture. St. Barbara's Cathedral, a masterpiece of late Gothic, dominates the city's skyline. Kutná Hora is also known for the Sedlec Ossuary, a chapel decorated with the bones of over 40,000 people, creating a macabre but fascinating atmosphere. This town represents a less crowded alternative to Prague, maintaining a very characteristic, authentic atmosphere. Évora, Portugal. Located in the heart of the Alentejo region, Évora is a city rich in history and cultural heritage. Declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site, it boasts an extraordinary collection of historical monuments, including the Roman Temple, the Cathedral, and the Chapel of Bones. The cobblestone streets of the historic center are lined with whitewashed houses, cozy squares, and outdoor cafes. Évora is also known for its traditional cuisine, with typical dishes made from meat and local wine. This city offers a tranquil atmosphere and an authentic experience of rural Portugal. Dinant, France. A medieval sentinel of Brittany, it dominates the Rance River from atop its intact walls. the steep cobblestone streets lead to countless surprises, including a Gothic church and a hidden square with a fantastic panorama. The bustling center of artisan shops and cafes demonstrates an ancient history, while the river port adds a touch of maritime liveliness. During costume festivals, the village transforms into a living fresco of the Middle Ages. But even on ordinary days, the ancient charm permeates the air, making every visit a journey through time. Finally, the clock tower, symbol of the city, offers a spectacular panorama of the surrounding landscape, giving a unique perspective on the beauty of this Breton village. Bath, England. Bath, a UNESCO World Heritage City in southwest England, is renowned for its Georgian architecture and Roman baths. Founded by the Romans as a spa town, Bath has maintained its function as a wellness center for centuries. The remarkably preserved Roman baths offer a window into life in ancient Britain. Bath Abbey, an example of English Gothic architecture, dominates the city centre with its imposing facade. Moreover, the Royal Crescent, a row of Georgian houses arranged in a crescent, is emblematic of Bath's architectural style. This city is a unique example of how 18th century urban planning has integrated harmoniously with the surrounding landscape. Pérouge, France. Like a medieval movie set frozen in time, it enchants with its architectural perfection. This fortified village in Ain has preserved its medieval character intact, from the ramparts to the stone houses with exposed beams. Place du Tilleul, the heart of the village, is dominated by a majestic centuries-old linden tree and surrounded by buildings that seem to have stepped out of a fairy tale book. Here, you can taste the famous galette de Pérouge, a local delicacy passed down for generations. Moreover, the steep stone streets, some so narrow you can touch both sides with outstretched arms, lead to characteristic views and hidden corners. The absence of visible electrical wires and modern signs contributes to creating an authentic atmosphere, transporting visitors on a journey through the centuries. Annecy, France. Often called the Venice of the Alps, Annecy offers a magical fusion of water and mountains. Imagine strolling along tranquil canals or romantic stone streets with the panorama of the Alps as a scenic backdrop. This is Annecy. Lake Annecy, one of Europe's cleanest lakes, invites you to peaceful cruises or relaxing afternoons cycling along its shores. The old city's heart is dominated by the Palais de l'Isle, a 12th century castle that seems to emerge directly from the water, now a museum that tells local stories from times past. Matera, Italy. Carved into the limestone rock of Basilicata, it's a miracle of human ingenuity and primordial beauty. Its sassi, ancient cave dwellings carved directly into the rock, create a unique urban landscape that has been chosen as a set for numerous biblical films. The rock churches, with their centuries-old frescoes, bear witness to a deep faith and ancient history. In the evening, Matera transforms into a living nativity scene, with thousands of lights dotting the city like stars fallen from the sky. Getting lost in its alleys is an emotional journey, where silence is broken only by the tolling of bells and the whisper of wind through the caves. Santillana del Mar, Spain. This village in Cantabria is often described as one of the most beautiful in all of Spain. With its cobblestone streets and heraldic houses standing along impeccably preserved roads, Santillana del Mar seems like a scene preserved straight from the Middle Ages. The town is famous not only for its architectural beauty, but also for the nearby Altamira, known for its prehistoric painted caves. The combination of history, culture, architecture, and natural beauty makes this village a must-visit destination for anyone wishing to connect with Europe's past in a setting of rare beauty. Rye, England. A medieval jewel of Sussex, it's a maze of cobbled streets and half-timbered houses that seem to have stepped out of a fairy tale book. Once surrounded by the sea, today it stands on a hill, as if guarding centuries of history. Mermaid Street, with its tilting historic houses and curious names, captures the imagination of every visitor. St. Mary's Church Tower offers a panoramic view of the red roofs and surrounding countryside, all the way to the distant sea. Rye is not just a step back in time. Its art galleries, craft shops, and welcoming pubs make it a vibrant and pulsating place. Moreover, the scent of fresh fish and the aroma of afternoon tea mingle in the air, creating a unique atmosphere that enchants and transports visitors to an ancient England. Rovinj, Croatia. On the western coast of Istria, Rovinj stands like a living painting. The rocky peninsula, once an island, hosts a labyrinth of paved streets that climb towards the sky. Pastel-colored stone houses cling to each other, creating a unique architectural harmony. At the top of the hill, St. Euphemia's Church dominates the skyline, and its bell tower, inspired by that of St. Mark's in Venice, watches over the city and the sea. The port, with its colorful fishing boats, tells the story of a community deeply connected to the sea. Indeed, the Venetian influence can be felt everywhere, from the Gothic mullioned windows to the winged lions carved on buildings. Telč, Czech Republic. The town of Telč is known for its main square, one of the most distinctive in Europe, surrounded by Renaissance and Baroque houses with vividly decorated facades. This UNESCO site enchants with its architectural consistency and beauty, offering an exceptional example of medieval urban planning. Besides the square, Telč Castle, with its sumptuous interiors and well-maintained gardens, is another must-see attraction. Additionally, the town hosts various cultural events that celebrate music, theater, and local traditions, attracting an international audience. Kitzbühel, Austria. Nestled among the Tyrolean mountains, Kitzbühel is much more than a renowned ski resort. This alpine gem blends glamour and tradition into an irresistible mix. Its medieval streets, with colorful facades and wrought iron signs, tell centuries of history. But it's winter that transforms this town into a world stage, when the legendary strafe downhill attracts the planet's best skiers. Summer is no less impressive, with hiking trails and golf courses winding through idyllic landscapes. Here, elegance marries the adrenaline of sport, creating a unique atmosphere where every tourist can feel like both an explorer and a star. Goslar, Germany. Nestled in the heart of the Harz Mountains, Goslar offers a journey back in time with its distinctive historic center and majestic imperial palace. Once a seat of emperors and rulers, this city is now a treasure trove of medieval houses and Romanesque architecture. Its cobblestone streets lead to lively squares, where markets and cafes blend with ancient buildings, boasting spires and ornate facades. A visit to the nearby Remmelsberg mines is also a must, offering a unique glimpse into the region's long mining history, also recognized by UNESCO. Gdansk, Poland. This Baltic seaport city boasts a 1,000-year history and unique architecture. The historic center, rebuilt after World War II, features buildings in Hanseatic Flemish style, markedly different from typical Polish architecture. Long Street and Long Market offer a sequence of colorful and elaborate facades. The medieval port, with its imposing 15th-century wooden crane, testifies to the city's historical importance in maritime trade. Gdansk is also known as the birthplace of the Solidarity movement, which played a crucial role in the fall of communism in Europe. Trogir, Croatia. Nestled on a tiny island between the mainland and the island of Chiovo, Trogir is a perfectly preserved medieval jewel. Its narrow, winding cobblestone streets encapsulate 2,000 years of history in just over a square kilometer. The beating heart is Central Square, where the Cathedral of St. Lawrence stands tall. The Camerlengo Castle, a Venetian sentinel on the sea, and St. Mark's Tower complete the profile of this fortress city. Finally, the waterfront, with its cafes and restaurants, offers enchanting views of the Adriatic. Trogir is a living city, where the echo of the past resonates in the steps of visitors who lose themselves among its alleys. Olomouc, Czech Republic. This bohemian city offers an authentic Czech experience without Prague's crowds. The city boasts one of the largest and best-preserved historical squares in Central Europe. The Upper Square, dominated by the majestic town hall with its socialist astronomical clock, a unique work that offers a fascinating glimpse into the art and ideology of the communist era. Visitors can explore medieval underground pubs or relax in city parks. Olomouc strikes a balance between history and modernity, offering a lesser-known alternative to more popular Czech destinations. Stratford-upon-Avon, England. Stratford-upon-Avon, a town in the heart of England, is universally known as William Shakespeare's birthplace. Located on the banks of the River Avon, this town preserves a well-preserved Tudor atmosphere. Shakespeare's birthplace, now a museum, offers visitors a glimpse into 16th century life. The Royal Shakespeare Theatre, home to the Royal Shakespeare Company, continues the town's theatrical tradition, staging works by the Bard and other playwrights. Stratford-upon-Avon is not just a literary sanctuary, but also an example of well-preserved Tudor architecture. Indeed, the half-timbered houses and manicured gardens along the stone streets testify to the town's rich history and its role in shaping English cultural identity. Pienza, Italy. Conceived as the ideal city of the Renaissance, Pienza is the result of a visionary dream by Pope Pius II, who in the 15th century sought to transform his humble native village into an exemplar of perfect urban harmony. The architect Bernardo Rossellino was commissioned to design the new city, following the humanistic principles of the Renaissance, thereby creating a masterpiece of beauty and proportion. The heart of Pienza is its main square, surrounded by emblematic buildings such as the Duomo, Palazzo Piccolomini, and the Town Hall, which together form an architectural ensemble of extraordinary elegance. The streets are an intricate maze of stone alleys, offering romantic glimpses and inviting exploration of the numerous artisan shops. Here, one can purchase local products, such as the famous Pienza Pecorino, a cheese with a unique flavor that bears witness to the region's ancient dairy traditions. Piran, Slovenia. A jewel of the Slovenian coast, it juts out into the Adriatic Sea like a peninsula of stone and history. Its narrow Venetian-style streets wind between pastel-colored houses, leading to Tartini Square, the beating heart of the city. Here, the imposing statue of the eponymous violinist watches over a stage of equally Venetian architecture. The promenade, dotted with cafes and restaurants, offers a relaxing walk with soothing views of the Adriatic, where fishing boats mingle with modern yachts. Finally, the bell tower of St. George's Church, a miniature replica of St. Mark's in Venice, dominates the skyline. Hondarribia, Spain. This Basque village is positioned on the coast, overlooking France across the Bay of Chinguदी. With its fortified walls, colorful houses with flowered balconies, and stone streets, Hondarribia is a perfect blend of history, culture, and natural beauty. The village is also famous for its cuisine, with a range of Michelin-starred restaurants and traditional taverns where one can taste authentic Basque dishes. The vibrant cultural scene manifests in festivals and celebrations, which come to life in the squares and along the docks, making the village a magical place where tradition and modernity coexist in perfect harmony.